I'm so dark, and I'm here to say, welcome to Emo Week Thursday. It is Emo Week, as you know. It started last Friday and it continues through this Friday. International Emo Week. It's, I think, fair to say it's not anyone's favorite week, but it's a week. A week we all have to endure as human beings. It's required of us because human beings, whether they like it or not, have to experience emotions. They probably don't like it. Most emotions are bad. With the rare exception of, say, happiness. I'm looking for my glasses. I'm guessing it's Acacia there. I was unable to find them. But anyway, if you're an FI user like Acacia, perhaps you really are feeling a special resonance with the universe this week on International Emo Week. Of course, as soon as I pushed go live, before I even started to put in the title, the poo started coming. It was like, okay, well, the world's greatest laxative, the live stream, is working fine again. So I think I have a bit of a cold. You might be able to hear it in my voice. I'm a little phlegmy. I woke up with a tiny bit of a sore throat this morning. More like like feeling your glands a little bit than a sore throat per se, maybe. But all the signs of a small cold. So I think International Emo Week, if your FI is polar enough, like mine is pretty polar, insofar as it is polar, then you get hit in your other subjective function a little bit, I think both Rachel and I are being hit in our subjective functions a bit this week. FISI, But as a general rule, something like crying is a good thing to do. I enjoyed the tears-inducing episode of My Daughter Left Home and Returned an S-Rank Adventurer. That one always makes me cry because my daughter is an equivalent age to the daughter in that show. I mean, my daughter's a little older than that daughter, but it always makes me feel father-daughter emotions. Father-daughter emotions are good. They're uncomplicated emotions, They're the emotions of love. I'm not sleeping, no. It's currently 10 a.m. and we got to leave here at 1 p.m. to get to the tire place. And I've got a couple of things I need to do before then. So I thought I'd start live streaming. Maybe, just maybe, I'd end up doing a couple of those things. Sometimes it helps. There's really one main thing I need to do. And that is I need to Luminello the doctor. Ovaries. Almost ovaries. You mean emo week, emo work. I misspelled it, I see now. Emo Week Thursday is like ovary week. It might be a little bit like ovary week. Now, the real question is, where did I leave my glasses? Which I once again have lost. I had a dream last night. I'm just reminded that I found my other pair of glasses. Alas, it was but a dream. I have 3 pairs of glasses somewhere around here. Actually, I think one of them broke and I threw it away. But now I have no pairs of glasses. Why? Well, because I'm a glasses loser. I was born a glasses loser. I'll probably die a glasses loser. There's a lot of wood smoke in the air right now. I did note that there was an alert for a couple of prescribed burns near me. So that might be what that is. Or it might just be the neighbors. A few of our neighbors have old school wood smoke fireplaces, you know. Hi, squirrel. The squirrel's eating some woodland cutlets right now. As you may or may not be able to see. Let me zoom a boom for you. There. Now you can watch a squirrel. Everybody enjoys watching squirrels. The Animal Planet channel should have a sub-channel called Squirrel Time, in which all they do is just show squirrels all day long eating sunflower seeds. He's a handsome lad, huh? You might say, are you sure it's a lad, Eric? Maybe it's a girl squirrel. It might be a girl squirrel. Or a girl, as they call them. A girl. A girl and squirrel do rhyme, sort of. Watch the girl squirrel twirl. Watch the girl squirrel swirl pearls. It's a good way to practice your R sounds. Girl squirrel world, you are part of my girl squirrel world. I slept a lot last night. But there. I blew smoke right in your face. I hope you're not too offended. Alright, Girl Squirrel World. Let's go. Let's go back inside, where I don't need my glasses to read things. Meow. What do you want? You're about to pee behind my car door in public because I don't want to ask McDonald's employees to unlock their bathroom for me. Well, it's better to pee outside. Public bathrooms are gross. You're just marking your territory, Ruben. That's fair. You're also preventing bears from attacking the McDonald's. It's well known that it's advised that you pee around your campsite to prevent bears from attacking you. So that's all, Ruben. If the cops ask, Ruben, that's what you're doing. You're engaging in bear prevention. I'm sure they'll buy it. And we saw a bear the other day, a day bear. It was exciting. We've seen a lot of wildlife since we've been here, but that's our first day bear. Watched a few cartoons this morning already. Probably. If it had been consistent with the rest of Emo Week, we'd have been like, oh, what an adorable bear. And then it would have been mauled by a bigger bear and left to die. We'd have been like, oh. No, it started on Friday, it ends on Friday. So we're more than halfway done. We've got today and tomorrow. It's all that's left for Emo Week. I can feel myself coming out of Emo Week already. I am a little bit physically sick, but that probably contributed to my emo-ness this week a little bit too, like getting sick. It's like I'm gonna write an emo song for Emo Week right now. Okay. All right, here's my Emo Week song. Love can make you feel good, feel right and true. But love can also make you feel very sad and blue. Love can make you feel like you're on top of the mountain. But love can also be an ever-flowing fountain of despair. Emotions, they rise up high during Emo Week, just like it is apple pie, and it's an occasion during which apple pie is frequently served. Yes, Emotion Week, It's like emotion tweaking hard on something and jostling you way more than you want to be jostled right now. That's my song for Emotion Week. It was not very good, just like Emotion Week itself. You know, it would be wrong to have a good song for Emotion Week because Emotion Week is not a good thing. Emotion Week is a week you want to avoid. You know, the INFJ is in attendance, whether they're here right now or not. They attribute Emo Week to the eclipse. But, you know, it's been even a little bit more than a week of a bunch of horrible things happening. Like, you could start it maybe with Johnny getting injured, needing to get his voice fixed. But you can tell we're coming out of Emo Week because guess what news came out yesterday? Hello, Pizza the Hut. I'll tell you what news came out yesterday. Johnny was nominated for a Grammy. I'm as shocked as anybody. It's unlike the Grammys to pay attention to somebody that good. You know, the Grammys are not known for being correct about music at all. It's worth noting that if they're fully correct, he'll win as well. But I don't know which Grammy he was nominated for. I hope it was for Best New Male Artist or something like that. In which case, he should definitely win it. I'll take a couple of these B vitamins. And despite their name, these vitamins are not just for bees. People can take them too. Just think how much my legit Johnny concert tee is going to be worth someday. And even the Pizza Hut eats B vitamins. Well, good for you. Rich and I were talking about our neuropathy yesterday, and I'm pleased to know that her neuropathy is limited just to her feet. It's kind of all foot encompassing, unlike mine, which is just limited to a part of my feet. Well, weed is a vitamin. It's vitamin THC. And it's most bioavailable through the lungs. It has maximal bioavailability that way. If you're like me, you know that you need breaks from it. Well, it does help to take some breaks from it. And it starts getting you high again. It's hard to take breaks from it, Pizza the Hut. when you have as much weed as Rachel and I have, we have a totally unfair amount of weed. Weed? Weed's not hard on the liver and kidneys. B vitamins might be, but I need to take B vitamins because I fucked up my B vitamin part in my body by huffing whippets too much. You're saying weed's hard on the liver and kidneys enlargement? It's not even processed through the digestive system. When you smoke weed, the only thing it could possibly be hard on is your lungs. Well, speak for yourself, Pete to that. I'm a very addictive person by nature, and I'm coming up on 10 years without a drink of alcohol. And I used to be a meth addict. So I like to think about I was such a nitrous abuser that I gave myself neuropathy. So when I think about all the possible ways I might manifest my highly addictive nature, weed seems like not an unhealthy thing to do, but rather a successful way of treating my alcoholism more than anything else. And that's the thing is, people can't tell other people what drugs they should do. They don't know what that other person's temporal bargaining arrangements are. We all have temporal bargaining arrangements whereby we indulge ourselves sometimes and we make deals with ourselves saying like, well, I get this done, then when I'm done with it, I'll indulge in meow. And those kind of firefighters and managers, ways of dealing with the various stressors of our lives, are always very particularist. So what makes no sense to one person makes plenty of sense to another. Like I don't get any satisfaction from buying a bunch of little dumb things like makeups and whatever. But that doesn't mean that Rachel's self-soothing strategies are bad. It just means they're different from mine, you know. And so, obviously, some self-soothing strategies are more sustainable than others, right? And ultimately, we're all looking for a life in which we don't need to soothe ourselves. Well, I mean, we drink so many drinks, it's ridiculous. So, and we know exactly the cause of the neuropathy. It's it's a severe B vitamin deficiency caused by huffing too much nitrous. There's no doubt about it in my mind. I've done all the testing on myself. I watched it happen to Rachel, and then it happened to me. And yeah, I know people like to brainstorm, but in this case, things are pretty clear cut. Both Rachel and I, um, only half here. Hope this carries on a while. It just causes dry mouth. That's different than dehydration. I do get dehydrated sometimes because, like, I try not to drink too many liquids. Well, I mean, I don't do this, but it's like once I go to bed, I stop consuming liquids until I'm up in the morning because I don't want to get up and pee so much. creates an illusion of thirst. Consuming it rectally, is that normal? Well, it won't work if you consume it rectally. It has to, unless you've already, like, unless you're consuming, like, can of butter rectally. You could, you could do can of butter rectally, and presumably it would work. But you can't just put weed up your butt. It won't work. It has to be activated by heat. That's why generally people smoke it. I'm a butthole smoker, there's got to be a twist. Butthole smoker got such a supple butthole. Acacia and Reuben have such supple buttholes they can smoke weed with their butt. I mean, I take care of myself as well as I can, Pizza the Hut. I agree, good health is a great gift, and you don't have anything, you don't have your health, as they said in the Princess Bride. Um, but you know, you're not taking good care of yourself if you're not if you if you're pretending like I can behave like a blank slate all of a sudden, decide what kind of habits I want to have, and make changes where I want to make changes simply because intellectually I determine that's best for me health wise, then I'm ignoring my spiritual, emotional, mental side completely. It's like I'm deeply habituated to smoking weed and smoking cigarettes. And, there may come a day where I quit one of them. If I were to quit one of them, it would probably be cigarettes. Um, but we all go through life accumulating a lot of trauma, carnage, whatever, you know, uh, wreckage that continues to cling to us as psychic wounds to some extent. And people develop various coping mechanisms for those sorts of things. Now, the truth is, right now, and for a while now, I've not been subject to the kind of ongoing ontological stressors that most people are subject to. Um, and yet I can't just pretend like I'm that adaptive. You know, Nobody's that adaptive. Like, just because reality no longer requires coping mechanisms doesn't mean you immediately stop coping, right? Uh, you still have the baggage of what's happened. There's still some sort of processing that needs to go on. Of course, it's more so the case with SI types like me than it is with NI types. So, we all do the best we can. It's very easy from a third party's perspective to say to me like, "Hey, you're not worrying about your health enough. You're smoking too much." Well, that's assuming you're unaware of and not considering the fact that I'm not drinking alcohol and not smoking meth and not huffing nitrous, and in other words, that I've pared back to the most sustainable and most healthy kinds of addictions I can, and I've eliminated the ones that are unsustainable. That's that's the best you can expect from me if you're me. If you're somebody else, you just expect more. Just like, well, why don't you quit smoking cigarettes too and pot too? And Because I'm me, not you, motherfucker. Why don't you stop telling people what they should do with their own bodies? You'll not find me doing that. But everybody's a critic, you know. And in celebration of that reality, let's go smoke a cigarette. Things take time, you know. Change is slow. Change within the self is slow. I don't care what your approach is, no matter how it works. In every instance, it's slow. And like change under fire is nearly impossible. If you're trying to attain some kind of self growth, but your circumstances are such that you've got more pressing matters to concern yourself with all the time, then you're not going to attain much of anything, right? Something about your circumstances has to change that allows you to be in a more ontologically safe place so that you can actualize. That's my experience. Maybe I'm generalizing from my experience too much, but I see it being true for both me and Rachel. I'm realizing increasingly how much both of us have been defined by fear. In my case, you might call it shame and anxiety. In her case, you might call it shame and anxiety. I think more anxiety really than shame. I think NI lends itself more to anxiety, SI lends itself more to shame. You want more cutlets? All right. The Woodland friends want more cutlets. So you can't ignore the Woodland friends when they're yelling at you. That would be unjust. All right, Woodland friends. There. I gave the Woodland friends some cutlets. And as you can see, here they come. Here they come for a very cutlet Thursday. It's a very cutlet Thursday. Well, you're probably a lot younger than me, Pizza the Hut. Give it some years, you know. Maybe you just have a easier time being you in the world than I do being me. I was born a drug addict. Before I encountered any substances, I'd try to give myself head rushes in various other ways. It's just part of who I am. I don't know why. But thanks to a combination of plenty of weed and the cycle of prescription bottle of speed, I got my addictions in a pretty sustainable, manageable state now, you know. I don't feel out of control ever really anymore. And that's what I hated feeling was like, oh shit, I got all drunk and out of control. Last time I felt out of control was that one night I did a half ounce of mushrooms and I had a psychotic break, essentially. That was a bad night. And I have shame about it. Shame and anxiety. See, that's what emo week's for. It's why you only have to spend 1 week a year on emotions. And it's the week for which the 17th of October falls on the 4th day of that week. Okay, that's International Emo Week. Every year, the 4th day of International Emo Week is the 17th of October. So as long as we remember that, well, good for you, Pizza the Hut. I mean, maybe you're just better at processing things than I am. Yeah, well, I just misspelled week. Because, of course, guess what I can't find? Can you guess? That's right, my glasses. I can't find Shangxiety. You know, I don't know what type you are, Pizza the Hut, but it's also the case that NI types are less likely to get the shame shivers than SI types are. So, anyway, I feel pretty good physically right now. Have I checked the top of my head? Seems fine. Oh, they're not there. I don't know where they are. They're far away. Well, I don't like to embarrass myself, you know. And third slot FE for me means when I do embarrass myself, having fourth slot SI, I remember those occasions and I go, ah, like that. I still don't see my glasses anywhere. But I'm a believer in the notion that they've got to be somewhere. They're not in the bathroom. Not in this bathroom anyway. They've got to be downstairs someplace. I'd expect to find them in the pockets of one of my jackets. They could be in this bathroom. No. Unless they're on the shelf up here. Sometimes I put things up here. It could be in the pocket of these pants, I guess. But they are not. I guess I could put these socks and these pants and this thing in the wash. Rachel's feeling a lot of stress over the fact that she needs to do the laundry. It's like, just chill out. I don't give a fuck. Like I give a fuck, you know? I should just do some laundry for her. How hard could it be to do the laundry, you know? I just start a load for her. And she'd be like, you trying to tell me something? No. I'm not trying to tell you shit. I just was like live streaming. I felt like starting a load of laundry. She's gonna feel like she's getting in trouble or something. Maybe you're not getting in any trouble at all. I just feel like doing some laundry right now. Instead of something I should be doing, you know. I'm procrastinating. Well, Rachel, you know, I couldn't motivate myself to do any of my chores. So I decided to do one of yours. Put one of these things in there. Don't eat these, by the way. Apparently, there was some thing a while back where people would eat those. I don't know why anybody would think that's a good idea. Let's see, load size. Super plus. Temperature. Warm, cold. No. Super wash. Well, why would you choose regular wash when super wash is available? It has a super wash choice, see? Super wash. So I'm going to go with the super wash. Because, you know, why not? Why go with a regular wash when the super wash is available? Let's continue looking for my glasses. You want to do that? Oh, I was going to check the pockets of this jacket over here. I thought that might be a possible location. We got so much food from the grocery store yesterday, but we really didn't get any breakfast foods. I regret that. I think when I go into town today, I'm going to get a couple of breakfast things. Like, you know, a box of donuts or something. Just being here. They're not there either. All right. Let's go look in the garage. Have I looked in there already? When I go to town today, I need to buy a new pair of glasses too. Yet another thing I need to do. There they are. Oh my gosh, you guys. I found my glasses. I can see everything you're saying. Goodbye, Pizza the Hut. I found them finally. I found it. Now all these glasses belong to me. Well, before we sit down for a cigarette outside, what do you think we should do as far as a beverage? I'm done with coffee. I'm sorry. I've had enough coffee this morning. I'm just done with it, you know? It's just like it's just over. I'm just over it. I'm over watching you eat too, Trouble. I watched you eat like 3 times this morning. God. This cat. He's feeling extra needy on Emo Week too. I know, Mr. Man. I feel needy too this week. Right now, I'm feeling needy of Speedy. Okay. Drink. What kind of beverage should I have? Ooh, I know. The most food-like beverage of all. Kerns. This will be a good food-like beverage. It'll feel like I'm eating a can of breakfast. Difficult kitty. But I feel you, dog. It's emo week. We're all emo this week, including you. According to Lou and Rachel, it's the eclipse. And I don't really have any better explanation for it, so let's just go with that. The eclipse ruined Cami 9's relationship. Or really, it saved her from a horrible problem down the road, probably, but that story last night was horrible. I feel so bad for Cami 9. I want to fly out to Chicago and beat that guy up with my finger wags, head shakes, and hands on hips and arms crossed chest. I want to beat him up with all of those things. Right, a total eclipse of the chart. Cool water is always an option for a beverage. What am I, a fish? Fish drink a lot of water. Oh, I know what that sound is. For a second, I thought Rachel was taking a shower. Then I remembered. Yeah. That cat's stomach is a black hole. Except it comes out the other end eventually. I clean it up often enough to know that. I need to go clean it up right now. I'd rather just do Rachel's chores. Isn't that weird how that is? Like, I don't want to do the things I need to do, but I feel perfectly happy about doing the laundry. I know Rachel was meowing about needing to empty the dishwasher. Maybe I ought to go do that for her. And she'll be like, why did you do my chores? No, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to do your chores? I'll be like, no, I just felt like doing something nice for you or something. Are those the lyrics of Total Eclipse of the Heart? Dollar buttons on a single machine? How ancient is that thing? I don't know what thing you're talking about. Ruben's gonna say both. Ruben's gonna find something that's both authentic and that he knows is gonna please them. Oh. I still don't know what you're talking about. Four buttons on a single machine. 4 buttons. I don't know what has 4 buttons. Oh, 4 buttons on the washing machine. Maybe ancient, but it's a great washing machine. Great dryer too. I had to fix the dryer recently. I successfully fixed the dryer myself. Go YouTube. You know, before YouTube is it was you had to hire somebody to fix your shit, you know? Now it just cost me $20 in parts and I just followed the instructions, replaced those 2 fuses, and now the dryer is working like a champ. Before, it was apparently operating on just 1 fuse because it wasn't that hot, but now it's like super hot. That was a nice accomplishment, you know. And I guess they didn't see me. They walked by, they looked in the garage, but I guess they didn't see me. They were waving the little bugs out of their face. The little bugs are back because it's a hot day today. It's actually a record high today. It's the record high. The thing is, like, Rachel does not lie. She can be reliably expected to tell the truth. I think you have a wrong relationship with junk food, Rubenar. Junk food makes you feel like, that's good and greasy. Fake compliments, I agree. I mean, sometimes people also compliment me on things that I don't really care about at all. Rachel calls me handsome a lot, but I suspect it's because she wants me to call her beautiful, because I don't really care about whether she sees me as handsome or not. I don't perceive myself as handsome, and it doesn't really bother me at all. That's not something I'm insecure about at all. I think all women are insecure about being beautiful. It's just sort of goes with the territory or something. Or at least straight women, I don't know about. I don't want to talk about for lesbians. But, yeah, I don't think she's lying to me. I think she does view me that way. But it's like when I point out in that instance, it's not designed to. She's not factoring in whether or not that's a compliment that's gonna make me feel good or not. It's fine. It's just she's just being loving, and I'm not complaining about it or anything. I'm just saying I'm not fixated. If I were fixated on that, obviously I'd have my teeth fixed by now. I could go. I mean to go do it. I just haven't gotten around to it. I think it's a lot more important to Rachel that she knows that I find her beautiful than it is to me that she finds me handsome. She needs to find me sexually attractive, but not necessarily handsome. Like a lot of men don't make their hay on their looks. I can. The time I told Ruben, my thing about ENFJs does not apply to you. You are truly creative and clever. And you should not feel constrained by that thing I said about ENFJs in general. I bet you that's an example. That was an authentic compliment on my part. It wasn't even a compliment. I don't compliment people. I just tell them the truth. And I'm not one to be effusive in my praise at all, unless something really deserves it. Like I was very effusive in my praise of Johnny. You don't hear me talking like that about any other musical artist because he truly deserves my effusive praise. Yeah, it's not so much that I compliment qualities as I praise excellence. you know, I think that's an example of why SI conscious is more useful for coming up with examples than SI polar. I think it was you fuck like a porn star. That's Acacia's sweet comment that she made to you. I mean, you're so loving. That was it. That was what she said. Or maybe it was, oh my God, you eat so well. I am so impressed by how you eat. I love watching you eat. I think that's probably what she said. Hmm. Well, still feeling kind of emo. Not as emo as earlier in the week, but emo week's not quite over. Fortunately, Tuesday was hump day for emo week. Tuesday's always Well, not Tuesday. October 17th is always hump day for Emo Week. So, except Emo Week lasts 7 days, not 5 days. It's important to remember that. And future Emo Weeks should note the parable of Cami 9. And remember that no matter how bad your Emo Week's going, it's not going that badly. It's sort of like the story of Lot's wife. Just be glad you're not a pillar of salt. Quit complaining, motherfucker. If you are a room with other people and you sense, perceive, intuit that there's this harmony in the room, do you feel like you are to blame? Or do you know immediately who is to blame? You feel responsible to take charge of social energy or remove yourself not to feel responsible. I'm curious about, do you know who's to blame? That's the part I'm most curious to hear the answer to. Can you figure out right away, like, who's the negative Nancy? It's usually Nancy, but sometimes it'll be Norbert, Nerdron, anybody whose name starts with N. Not a lot of N names. Nathan, Nathaniel. Of course you know who is to blame. I don't necessarily. I mean, my decision about who's to blame is going to be predicated on who's correct. I need to hear what everybody says. You know, a person who's displaying the most negative emotionality is not necessarily to blame. They could be having buttons pushed by some narcissistic shit, you know. In which case, they're not to blame for being mad. The person who's to blame is the person who's being bad, behaving poorly, being incorrect, you know. I can't necessarily tell that right away at all. You're just projecting your dominant function there. Like when I went into the CVS in Oakhurst one time and I was getting mad because this guy had waited like 4 days before even ordering the drug. Um, he I think was an ENFJ and he won our first exchange because I was getting mad and he was portraying it as me being irrational or angry or something. He didn't win any future exchanges because you can only do that to me once. And the people nearby sided with him in that first exchange because they did that heuristic that the person who's angry is in the wrong. And it's inside the house, next to the bong. We'll go in there and smoke that right now. CJ Johnson. The moment, just killing a little time. You know, just waiting for the chol to get up. And then there's one more thing. I really plan to accomplish this while I'm streaming so that I can get it out of the way and get it done. I need to Luminello message my doctor. So I will do that hopefully before I end this stream. I don't expect there's any chance, any realistic chance that I used to blaze fatties back in my day. I'm still blazing. I'm blazing like nobody's business. CJ Johnson. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I've been smoking weed since I was 14 years old. And look what's in my freezer. Bam! So yeah, I smoke a little bit of weed. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I smoke more weed than anybody else on the planet. I mean, it's possibly true that I smoke more weed than anybody on the planet. I pretty much smoke it constantly all day long. So. Unfortunately, this stem is a cloggy bitch. It needs many pokings, just like my wife. That's what my wife and my stem have in common. They both need many pokings. Well, yes, the blowtorch is a better way to smoke weed than a regular lighter. And I'll tell you why. If you're a fellow weed smoker, you might want to invest in a torch. Now, how many times, CJ Johnson, have you got your bong rib pull ready to pull, and then I can't find my lighter? Well, guess what's hard to put in your pocket? This. Think about it. Now, granted, we have other lighters around, but who knows how long those will stay there? They might not stay there for long. I can barely keep track of my glasses, let alone a lighter. Well, I can't even keep track of my glasses. Barely is giving myself way too much credit here. For example, I walked inside. Where did I get this thing? I got it at Ace Hardware. These Burns-O-Matics, this is the best one to get. The one that has this button, this, and this. You want to get all of those things. That way, you can adjust the flame with this thing and lock it, and it auto sparks, you know. That's the one you want to get. The Burns-O-Matic TS8000, okay? If you're looking to get a torch, it just comes with this part, right? You buy this part separately and you screw it on. If you're looking for a torch to get the Burns-O-Matic TS8000. It's the best torch you can get. It does everything you want it to do. I mean, I'm talking about for pulling bong ribs. If you're doing plumbing with your torch, I don't know what the best torch to get is. I've never done any plumbing with a torch before. I can say that the only thing I've used a torch before for other than doing drugs is lighting a campfire. Oh no, I've used it to light fireworks before too. So I hereby stand corrected. All right, so Eric, you're not gonna get any speed if you don't Luminello message your doctor. No, I don't get the cats high. We've got 2 cats. They may get a little accidentally high by being around us, but I don't purposely get them high. Rachel smokes a lot of weed too, you know. My wife. Today, on our list of things to do, is to go to Oakhurst and get another bong. Because I broke my bong. We've been sharing Rachel's bong. She was using this for a little while. We got this other thing. This is really like a dab setup, you know. The bongs available here in Mariposa County is just not a very good selection. This bong we got at the bong store in Oakhurst is great. It's proven to be just ideal. The problem with contemporary bongs, I'm in California. The problem with contemporary bongs is that the problem with contemporary bongs is that they're too complicated, right? You don't need a big complicated bong with a bunch of swirly durlies inside of it and ice catchers and shit. You're just playing, here, I love clogs. Let's make this impossible to clean. So, what you need is a simple beaker design like this, right? It's got the ball at the bottom. It's got maybe one of these things to help it stop kissing you quite as much. But with that, if you're going to make me earn a like, then I'm almost never going to get any likes. I mean, only like 1 out of 10 live streams is good. So, I mean, you can't set the bar that high. I didn't call Boba Fett. I called him Boba Fett. You gotta lower the bar for me a little bit, Boba Fett. You just have to say that not it's not worthy of a dislike. It means that you should like it. Okay? If you don't actively dislike it, you should like it. That should be the criterion. Because otherwise, you're making me work too hard. And I don't know if I'm going to be capable of earning that like. Of course, I actually don't care if you like it or not. So there is that. I don't pay any attention to the thumbs up on live streams or really anything else about live streams because they just don't really, well, I mean, their purpose right now, to the extent that it has any purpose at all, would be because I'm streaming vertically, get new people around here, some of whom might stick around, you know? So, anywho. Like, this is perfect, right? Conventional drop bowl, and it lets you put the water level high enough that you can pull solid riffs without getting a kiss. That's what you want to do. That's what you're looking for in your bong. You don't want it to kiss you. And that's what it's called when you pull a rip and a little bit of bong water splashes up on you. Prevent kissing is the #1 job. You don't have any purpose at all? Your purpose, I guess, is to watch my live streams. It's got to be somebody's purpose. I don't, you got to understand something, Mrs. Mom. I look for one thing and one thing only in a bong: functionality. It needs to function exactly the way I want it to. Any extra doodads and dwaddly doos are just pointless. I don't care if it looks cool or looks dumb or whatever. I just want it to work properly like Rachel's bong does. You know, if I saw it anywhere again for sale, I would buy my stainless steel bong from a long time ago again in a heartbeat. That was a great bong. That was an unbreakable bong. It was a great bong. Oh, well. Yeah, well, I'm such a bongasseur that I know exactly what I want. And it's not complicated or expensive, you know. It's it's a straightforward, like, the only thing that makes this look complicated are these little designs on here. And the fact that this glass, for whatever reason, doesn't seem to accumulate like stuck on resin very much. It just cleans out real easy. So, anyway, Corbin DeJandre and Tiffany and Cunningham are going to be on an episode of Naked and Afraid. It's one of those things that'll probably happen once I'm on amphetamines. Right now, I'm too much in love to be productive. All right, speaking of being productive, it's time to do it. It's time to pull the trigger. It's time to message Dr. Ingram. Plan and lab slip. Okay. Compose new. Okay, prescription refill. Hello, Dr. Ingram. Last month, the Vyvanse cost over $400. I switched to it in the first place because I was told it by the pharmacist. I switched to it in the first place because I was told by the old pharmacist that I wouldn't have to wait to get it. But I still have to wait to get it. And I talked to the new pharmacy yesterday, but they couldn't or wouldn't tell me how much the generic Vyvanse would cost, nor how long I'd have to wait. So I'd like to go back to Adderall or just straight Dexedrine. How do you spell that then? Although I was on the max dose of Vyvanse, I was only on 30 mg a day, 15 times 2. Of Adderall. That dose seemed fine. Can you switch me back? Since I have to wait anyway. Per our previous conversation and the info you provided regarding Adderall, I prefer the Dexedrine. Not sure if the dosage is the same as Adderall or not. Whatever you deem best, obviously. Thanks, Eric. Okay. Send. Let me reread it to make sure it's good. Last month, the Vyvanse cost over $400. I switched to it in the first place because I was told by the old pharmacist that I wouldn't have to wait to get it. But I still have to wait to get it. I talked to the new pharmacy yesterday, but they couldn't or wouldn't tell me how much generic Vyvanse would cost, nor how long I'd have to wait. So I'd like to go back to Adderall or just straight Dexedrine. Although I was on the max dose of Vyvanse, it was only on 30 milligrams, 15 times 2 of Adderall. That dose seemed fine. Can you switch me back since I have to wait anyway? Per our previous conversation and the info you provided regarding Adderall, I'd prefer the Dexedrine. Not sure if dosage is the same as Adderall or not. Whatever you deem best, obviously. Thanks, Eric. Okay, that's fine. That's a fine enough message. Send. Why is it giving me problems? Drafts. This one. Send. There, I'm done. So what do you guys think about my message? Do you think that was a good message? This is third slot FE, wanting confirmation that it was FE good enough. Were you guys, it looks like you guys weren't even listening to my message to the doctor. How am I supposed to get feedback on it? Thank you, Ruben. That's who I was really looking to say it was fine. Good job. Thank you, Ruben, for reassuring me about the FE. I look so slim on your TV. I am pretty slim. But I've got some good news for you. I may be slim, but I'm not shady. Let me show you how slim I am. I'm going to do a model walk towards you from down here, okay? What do you think? Pretty model-like, huh? Mostly validation, Jeremiah fix. But if you have negative feedback, I'll hear it. Although, I take your feedback with a grain of salt. Especially given your inclination to recklessly use your own intuition in a circumstance where that individual clearly had a lot more reason to trust her own intuition about actual stuff than you would have to trust your intuition to generalize from one single fact. Okay, I cleaned out the cat litter. You echo went on my TV and phone. Which do you assume is the head? Probably the phone. Oh, the garage is echoey? To tell you the truth. I'm just making the echo. Myself, so. I make all the echoes myself. All right, let's go stand outside for a bit. Outside is therapeutic place, I've decided. Like, during emo week, when I have gone and just stood outside and enjoyed the pleasantness a bit. It is warm today. Wow. This is about as warm as you're ever going to feel it on this date. We know this because today is a record high. But even though it's warm, like right now it's a very soft kind of warm. You can almost have your jacket on. But the air feels so nice. It feels so nice and soft. Come to me, soft air. And I'll tell you what looks nice also are these in color maple trees down there. For example, you know what? I'll turn this around. That's a smarter way to do this. There. Now you can see some foliage. It's only going to get to like 89 or 88 here. But in town, it'll get to 91. Have I thought about doing some simple reviews of fast foods or cheap products to gain some extra viewership? I have not really thought about it, but I should review everything consumed. Yeah, I could do a review of Kern's nectar here. So you may only be a Kern's guava nectar drinker, and you might say, I don't want to get any other flavor. I respect that. I like the guava best too, but we got this 12-pack of cans that has both peach and guava in it, and the peach ones are delicious. Like that? Bozo the Clown? What do you think? Strawberry banana nectar? Yeah, we got some of those too. Or you may be pointing out the fact that I had actually misspoke there. The peach ones came with the mangoes, I believe, and the guavas came with the strawberry banana nectar. You may have caught me in a factual flaw. You know, it's probably even more attractive than over there. Is down there, like right there. You know, that's a pretty attractive spot to look at with your looking eyes. It's funny. It looks like a little guy sitting on the log over there, huh? On the left, towards the bottom. That's not a little guy though. It's just how the log looks. It's a wonderful natural nature scene. Leaves and squirrels and flying birds. Sunshine breezes, the autumn time, wonderful nature scene. Do you like the wonderful nature scene? Are you tired of it now? Do you want a new nature scene? How about this one? That's some juicy nature. I hope you feel better soon too, Boba Fett. I really do. Squeeze the juice out of nature, and nature will squeeze the juice out of you. Just like a gnome of illusions. You live in a jail cell. I'm sorry to hear that. I don't think they let you watch YouTube in jail, actually. Any story as to how I quit drinking alcohol? I mean, the usual ugly stuff, you know. I had a rough Christmas season. My drinking was getting kind of worse. And finally, I made an ass of myself at a Christmas party at my wife's family. She was like, "You have to quit drinking, or I'm going to leave you." And she didn't even at that point really need to say that. I was ready to quit. I'd gone too long. So I just went to AA, you know, and told myself, instead of thinking about this and determining conclusions about it, I'm just gonna do what they say. And I did for a while, and it worked. You know, I quit drinking, and I've stayed quit drinking for. It'll be 10 years on December 26th. Which is pretty good. My higher power at first was just God, that to whom I prayed, but I didn't necessarily believe in. You know, like I said, I was gonna do what they told me to do, not worry about whether I thought it made sense, if I believed it or whatever. It didn't matter. That's what my plan, and I actually followed through on. Except of course, I didn't do some of the things they told me to do. According to them, I should have quit smoking weed and quit taking alcohol, quit taking Adderall, and I just ignored the cognitive dissonance and just did what they said, everything they said about alcohol. So that included praying. You know, they told me to pray, so I said, "Okay, I'll pray." And it opened up a whole new realm of possibility for me, because I realized that having a magical thinking frame is not an abdication of reason. They're perfectly compatible if you understand. In fact, it's even sort of intellectually necessary if you understand morality correctly, because there's no other way of accounting for positive moral indications. You can only rationally defend negative moral prohibitions. I mean, really, you don't even need the word positive and negative in there. It's redundant. You could just say moral indications versus moral prohibitions. But I guess I could also just say negative, uh, moral rules versus positive negative moral determinations versus positive moral determinations. I could say that as well. But really, negative moral prohibitions is redundant, and so is positive moral indications. There are no um, universalizable positive morals except that except that one should adhere to one's contractual obligations. But you know me, sometimes I like to be a little redundant. I would like to go potentially on a hot air balloon ride. You know, I don't know where they have those. I know Tiffany would really enjoy it. Tiffany's been bugging me to take her on a hot air balloon ride for ages. The thing is, I don't want to go on a dangerous hot air balloon ride, right? Well, you want me to explain that stuff? Fine. Like, we can justify that you shouldn't violate other people's rights and what comprises those rights and the stuff like the boundaries around it and all that stuff. We can understand and explain all of that stuff with reason, provided we agree on the basic notion that slavery is immoral. You have to start with some sort of axiom, right? That's as good a one to start with as any. If you start with that axiom that we can all agree that slavery is wicked. Thank you, Bozo the Clown. How kind of you. Um, if we start with the idea that slavery is wrong, we can rationally and logically deduce basically all the rest of negative morality. But you can never know what you ought to do because there's infinite possible good things you can do. Like, is it wrong of me to give money to the SPCA instead of a charity helping victims in the Middle East? Well, it's hard to say that it's wrong of me to not prioritize the charity that you think is most important. You might successfully make that claim, and they might say, well, isn't the plight of these people over here even worse? Shouldn't we give our money to them then? Should we always have to determine to the best of our ability, according to a metric of impacts, what measures worst where before we direct any kind of charity? No, obviously not. So there can't be positive moral obligations. Hmm. Jesus didn't nut Winston's mom. Okay? He was without sin, and nutting is sinful. So you just gotta get over that idea. Now I'm all like tired and like almost ready for a nap because I smoked all that weed. But we've gotta get ready to go like in 1 hour. Now I want to watch this. See fly swat, flot fly flot, swat fly, see fly, swat fly swat. So, okay, let me return to the inside of the house now. I've gotten my Luminello message sent out. And Now Jeremiah Fix has me worried that there was something wrong with it. We'll see what happens. Or get my lab work done. I gotta go get my lab work done. It's like that's one of those tasks we can get to much more easily when we're on amphetamines. Sounds like a pain in the ass, you know. I wasn't praying. I was worrying about whether my Luminella message was good enough. Ah, the stress of getting my drugs is so stressful. It just makes me want to poo. Well, that's life in the big city. I mean, my reasoning is perfectly sound in that thing. That's my actual reasoning, actually. It's like, okay, the reason I got on Vyvanse in the first place was because I had to wait for it, you know? I wasn't going to have to wait for it, but then I have to wait for it anyway, so. And it's so much more expensive, I might as well go back on whatever, you know? All right, and it's totally honest. I didn't say like, since I was on the max dose of Vyvanse, put me on the max dose of whatever. Told them the exact dosage I was on before. So, okay, thank you, Ruben. You're reassuring me. I appreciate it. That's FE third. Where I'm very susceptible to thinking that other people are going to perceive what I said differently than I want them to. Especially when I'm trying to get something, like get an outcome accomplished. That's when the real FE fear kicks in. When I'm just chatting with people on the internet, and if people think I'm a dick, I don't really care. But when I'm trying to get something specific accomplished, that's a different story, right? It's like I actually need to get this accomplished. I know I have another pack of cigarettes around here, but of course I've lost it. I don't blame people for sometimes perceiving me poorly around here. I know that I'm not taking continual care of how I'm being perceived, and you might come in the middle of me yelling at somebody, and you're gonna probably think, this guy yells at people all the time. Because people kind of generalize from their initial impression a lot of information about somebody. You know, like me too. I could watch just a couple of minutes of somebody's live stream, and I think I'll have a good grasp of who they are and what they're all about in short order, with very little actual experience. I think that may be the difference between you know SI above NE versus everybody else. It's like SI above NE is much more likely to give things a chance. Everybody else is either using NI or is N above S. if there's one thing people like jumping to, it was, it is conclusions. That was a rare video where I didn't get all upset. Okay, well, I'm going to wrap this up now because you searched for a critic of C.S. Joseph's and found me. That's interesting to know. I do criticize C.S. Joseph so much so that I even got bullied for it one time. I mean, I even got a warning for bullying one time for bullying C.S. Joseph. I guess that makes me a bully. But that's gonna drop off. Hi, Lou. I'll stick around for just a minute or two later because I want to talk about this, and then I'm gonna go. It's gonna drop off in December. That warning of mine. I'm kind of excited about that because I've had to live with. I've been avoiding the dashboard actually of the channel as much as possible for um for years now because it was from like 2019. Uh, and I don't like to look at that page because it shows my status as warning. It's like, oh, how ugly. I don't like to see that. So I put my link directly to the content page rather than the dashboard. So I don't have to look at it. It's finally going to go away. Hooray, hooray, hooray. I won't be a warning person anymore. I'll be a regular person with a good status instead of a bad status. Well, Lou, I hope you're having a better day. And while you're here, before I leave, I want to recap the arc of Emo Week, okay? So Emo Week, first of all, let me know that Emo Week is also just general fuck up week. So of course I misspelled week. It's not intentional. I meant to spell it Emo Week Thursday. But on Emo Week, you can't even spell the word week correctly. I will get to street urchin, okay? Just wait for me to get some amphetamines and then I will get to street urchin. And and he is first on our list of people to type police. Um so let's recap Emo Week before we leave here. First, let me just say Emo Week is our karmic necessity so that FE people have to experience what it's like to be an FI person while for a whole week, so that we have some compassion for the horrible, horrible misery of being an FI person. And it started on last Friday at like 12 a.m. Maybe even started a little bit on Emo Week Eve, which is the Thursday before Emo Week starts. So the thing is, well, it's not always a Thursday. Emo Week is defined as having Tuesday be the hump day of the week. So, and I'm sorry, it's defined by having October 17th be the hump day of the week. So if October 17th falls on a Thursday, then what that means is that the week starts on see. So let's see. It's the fourth day of the week. October 17th is a Thursday. Then Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Yeah, so we start on a Monday. If the 17th falls on a Thursday, then it starts on a Monday. Anyway, the point is Emo Week, International Emo Week, is a week in which everybody, no matter their cognitive function stack, has to experience a lot of FI. And that's what week we're on right now. FI is exhausting. It makes you crazy a little bit. Makes you obsessive about stupid shit. But it also is responsible for how you want to be next to your partner all the time and stuff like that. Well, here's the good news, Lou. Emo week ends tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day of emo week. So Saturday morning when you get up, it should no longer be emo week. Tuesday the 17th was hump day of this emo week. So therefore Friday's the last day. And I'd remind everybody of the parable of Saint Cami the Nine. Okay? If you weren't here last night and you didn't hear the parable of Saint Cami 9, it goes as follows. Saint Cami 9 was in a long-term relationship with her boyfriend. They saw each other once a month. They made arrangements to move in together. She moved all of her stuff to Chicago, was moving in, and then he broke up with her all of a sudden. So the parable of St. Cami 9 is meant to remind us all that at least we aren't St. Cami 9 and enduring that nightmare of a trauma that's going to define her in so many ways for such a long time. It's going to impact her, not define her necessarily. It's going to impact her so dramatically for such a long time. She's going to have such a hard time trusting going forward, after that kind of betrayal. So the point of her story is for everybody else to say, well, I got it better than St. Cami 9. I've been feeling very emo all week, but things I've been feeling emo about pale in comparison to the things that Lou's feeling emo about or Cami 9's feeling emo about. It reminds me to stop being a baby and be grateful for what I have, I guess that's really the message of Emo Week in general is at the end of it, you walk away having learned that maybe you should stop being such a baby. Unfortunately, nobody could ever accuse St. Cami 9 or even Lou and what she's dealing with of being a baby. But that's why it has a whole week, You deserve to be a baby for a whole week. We all do. We all suffer so much in life. We deserve to be a baby for a week. Well, we are all supposed to, at some point during Emo Week, watch the movie Beaches. It's kind of a emo week tradition. Or if you prefer, you can watch Dying Young. That's a real upbeat flick, I hear. Right. Well, obviously, International Johnny Week begins on a Monday, culminates at its peak on the Friday of the Johnny Show, and then has Saturday and Sunday be the denouement of the week. They're often not celebrated in some cultures very much, you know. But rather than, in contrast between International Johnny Week and Emo Week, International Johnny Week is humans celebrating humanity. International Emo Week is the divine imposing its emotional will upon you. Or imposing your own emotional will upon yourself. I don't know if one has an emotional will or not, really, but you know what I'm saying. It's magical stuff. You can't talk about feelings without getting a little bit magical sometimes. Feelings are the magic of my heart. Feelings make me want to shout. Ruben, you've got me rhyming hard and sharp now. Thanks a lot. Just what I wanted. Ruben infected my consciousness with charting. Why can I not seem to make it outside with everything that I need? I still don't have my glasses. Horrible glasses. I wish my eyes would just work properly without a bunch of fussing and fighting. I got my purple jacket on now. They call me the Purple Sage. Rachel said the jacket made me look sage-like. Basically, Emo Week is a week during which, this shirt is from my dad. This is one of my dad's old shirts. It's a week when the moistness angels come down and kick you in the nards. Like, pia, pia, pia. There. Feel that for a week. When you do, it hurts for a solid week. Thanks, Lou. This jacket was also his jacket, actually. I would never buy this jacket in a billion years. I'm clad in dad. The mango nectar. I would say it's a little less sweet than the peach nectar. You've been feeling apathetic? I'm feeling apathetic too. I mean, that goes along with FI. When you got a lot of FI going on, it's like, for me anyway, it's kind of crippling. I can't do anything really besides just Lou Reed on the turntable would give me a lot more emo than Dave Matthews on the jukebox, but I don't get that much emo from straight SI when it comes to music. I get emo from quality. Lou Reed, depends on which Lou Reed song, right? It's Such a Perfect Day. That one's gonna always hit anybody in the feels because it's such a great song. Or Satellite of Love. It's a really great Lou Reed song. Probably his best one. Things like this drive me out of my mind. I watched it for a little while. I like to watch things on TV. Ba-da-dum, 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 bum, bum, bum. Satellite of love. Bum, bum, bum. Satellite of love. Bum, bum, bum. Satellite of love. Satellite come down from the sky. Juicy. That's a juicy song. It's full of the juiciest flavors of juice. It's hard not to love that song. Sings so well too, you know? It sings like it's made out of Kern's mango nectar. A delicious change of pace from the normal. I'm not wearing any hugs today. I'm wearing something even more modest than boxers underneath this. I'm wearing what you might call boxer trunks. They're like boxers, but they've got a pull string and they've got pockets, but they've also got buttons for your pee hole, you know? Like the buttons are ridiculously wide apart too. I never need to unbutton it to get my penis out of that hole. It's like I don't think there's a man in the world who couldn't fit through that hole. The button's just like, oops, we made this slit way too big. Let's put a button in the middle of it. So in that regard, they're kind of less modest than boxers. There's no fold across the slit, you know. But no, they're buttons, not a zipper. And like I said, it's like these things have just like a cut down the front of them with a button in the middle, but there's no flap over it. Ba-da-dum, 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 bum, 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 satellite of love. Bum, 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 satellite of love. Bum, 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 satellite of love. Satellite of love. Okay, now I really am going to wrap this up because I have to get Rachel up if she's going to go with me anyway. I might need to poo again. I'm not feeling what you would call highly energetic, but I feel like we can do this. We can go to the supermarket successfully. Well, we need to leave it here at 1 o'clock. How long is it going to take Rachel to get ready? Well, I would say at least 30 minutes. At least 30 minutes. You just pooped outside on the steps. That's probably not the best place to poop. Oh. Maybe I can make it another 45 minutes till I leave the stream. There's nothing really I need to do before I go. I tend to underestimate. Okay, well that might be possible. So if that's the case, I need to go at least look in on her. If she's super sound asleep, then I won't bother her right now. But if she's looking restive, as they say, which does not mean restful, as a lot of people think, but instead means not restful, like tossy-turny. Did you know that? Did everybody out there know that? The restive means the opposite of what you probably think it means. She is sound asleep. I hear her snoring a little bit. I'm not going to bother her. If need be, I'll just go to do this myself. You know? I don't want to bother her. If she's fast asleep, I never want to bother her because she and sleep already have a difficult relationship. Sleep and Rachel don't get along very well. So when she's sleeping soundly like that, which, you know, I think she's increasingly turning into a half vampire. She seems to sleep best when during the day, during the morning, like from when the sun starts coming out till like 1 in the afternoon. She's as usual when she's fast asleep. She's listening to autoplay tarot pick-a-cards. Anytime you walk in on her sleeping, you will hear, oh, what I'm seeing is this person, the way they perceive you is probably projecting some of their own insecurity onto you, and blah, 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 blah. She's fast asleep, but that shit's always playing in the background. She cannot sleep without having that stuff playing. Well, I wonder if my dream from last night will come true. Last night I dreamed that I found my other pair of glasses, which I would like to find. Maybe this will be sufficient to remind me to buy another pair of glasses when I get into town today. Um, Meanwhile, I cannot sleep if I hear any talking at all. I can't sleep. If I can hear the words clearly enough to understand them, I cannot sleep. No, I am not going to wake her up if she's fast asleep like that. So if I'll check again at like a quarter to one. If she's still fast asleep, well, then at that point I'll just get ready to go myself and go have a fun outing by myself, which is not a bad thing here on Thursday of Emo Week, as my irrational obsession with Rachel and like FI neediness week is starting to fade a little bit. I'm feeling like I feel like well, you know what else I've noticed? One time in Arcadia, I was falling asleep while watching anime, which was speaking in Japanese. But then as I was falling asleep, the fact that I couldn't understand what they were saying kept waking me up. Please don't hump my ear hole. I'm saving all of the wax. Did you win? That's funny. Your son Eric gets a wonder point for that. Winston's mom. You can let him know he earned the first remote wonder point. Saruman. Saruman. Sounds like the bad guy from Lord of the Rings. You're welcome, Winston's mom. He earned it with his clever question. So, anyway, still have 45 minutes to kill. I guess what I'll do right now to entertain you all is look at the Microsoft news headlines. Study. Asteroid known as Polyhymnia may contain super heavy elements unknown to humans. Interesting. U.S. Defense Department eyes possible threat of unidentified phenomenon. Vanishing acts. Exploring 25 mysterious places where people disappear without a trace. Let's look at that one. Let's see where the places are. The Bermuda Triangle, the Sargasso Sea, the Michigan Triangle, Lake Superior, the Devil's Sea, situated south of Tokyo, Japan, lies this perilous expanse of water known as the Devil's Sea, an area that has gained notoriety due to a string of missing vessels and fishing boats. Aren't fishing boats vessels? The Alaska Triangle. The southeastern region of Alaska comprises an extensive wilderness that remains largely uncharted due to its perilous icy mountains and tundras, making it a hazardous area to navigate. Yosemite National Park? What? You mean where I live is a mysterious place where people disappear without a trace? While Yosemite is famed for its breathtaking scenery and diverse wildlife, the park has also become known for numerous disappearance cases, with 45 individuals still missing to this day. Strange tales have circulated about children who vanished from one location only to reappear in a different section of the park without their clothing, which some attribute to supernatural beings tied to the area's indigenous culture. What's up with these two? What's the deal, you know? What are they doing? The Nevada Triangle, which also includes where I live. The Nevada Triangle encompasses expansive desert lands and the Sierra Nevada mountains. In 2007, the area captured headlines when aviator and adventurer Steve Fawcett vanished while flying a small plane over the region. Beyond his and other disappearances, the area's proximity to the mysterious Area 51 has fueled speculation of UFO sightings. Highway 16. Known as Yellowhead Highway, Highway 16 runs through British Columbia, Canada from Winnipeg to Graham Island, featuring extensive wilderness and several small towns. A specific stretch of the road has gained notoriety as the Highway of Tears due to the high number of disappearances that have taken place there since the 1960s. Pyramid Lake. Pyramid Lake is a saltwater lake near Reno, Nevada, named after the striking pyramid-shaped rock formation emerging from it. The lake garnered nationwide attention after two men disappeared there, sparking various speculations about their fate. Some theories even involve malevolent spirits called water babies, originating from a Paiute legend. Water babies, huh? Pecos, New Mexico. Many mysterious disappearances. Superstition Mountains in Arizona. My family used to own land there. Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Aruba. The South Atlantic Anomaly. The Van Allen radiation belts exist several thousand kilometers above the Earth's surface, serving as a protective shield against solar winds and cosmic rays. However, a particular radiation belt situated in the region above Brazil, known as the South Atlantic Anomaly, creates a massive energy field of about 10 million volts, which some researchers speculate could have played a role in the disappearance of Air France Flight 447, where 228 passengers lost their lives. The New York City Complex. The New York City Complex was a small community located in West Milford, New Jersey, built by the City of Newark Water and Reservoir Plant to provide housing for their employees along Route 23. However, in 1992, the entire complex was inexplicably abandoned with no evidence of burglary or any other explanation for its abandonment. This led to it being dubbed Demon's Alley. I'm interested about that one. Hmm. No one knows when they were constructed. What? Well, that's interesting. I'll have to research that more. The New York City complex. The Bennington Triangle, situated in southwestern Vermont. Ashley, Kansas. A vanished town in Ashley, Kansas. And Jacoonie Lake. And Jacoonie Lake is in Nunavut, Canada. Erkhammer, Iowa. Erkhammer supposedly once existed in the state of Iowa, which was a typical Midwestern community until 1928 when all its residents vanished without explanation. Tourists passing through the area reported seeing the empty town. The incident was covered by local newspapers. However, the stock market crash of 1929 quickly overshadowed the story. Hmm. Erkhammer, Iowa. Or Verde, Brazil. Somewhere in Brazil, a small village with a population of 600 became deserted when a group of travelers arrived in 1923. The only message left behind was written on a blackboard reading, "There is no salvation." Huh. Solva Bay. During World War One, Italian and French soldiers set out to march onto Solva Bay in modern-day Turkey. One of the lasting mysteries of this battle was the disappearance of a single platoon. It is rumored that a peculiar cloud covered the hillside through which the English soldiers walked and were never seen again by either the Turkish or British forces. A peculiar cloud? The Flannan Islands. Three lighthouse keepers disappeared mysteriously in 1900. Roanoke Colony. Whatever happened to those people? And lastly, Mesa Verde. The Mesa Verde National Park, situated in the Four Corners region of the American Southwest, once inhabited by the ancestral Puebloans who constructed dwellings in the surrounding cliffs. However, they eventually left the area for reasons that are not entirely clear. While various theories have been suggested over time, recent findings indicate they may have migrated further south to places like Arizona, New Mexico, and Rio Grande. Well, that is truly, truly exciting stuff. I'm thrilled by it. I don't know about you guys. Good morning, Rachel. Oh, you're awake. We checked on you earlier and you were fast asleep. And I told everybody, no, I'm not going to wake her up. If she's still asleep when it's time to go to town, then I'll just go to town without her. It's coming towards the end. We're wrapping up Emo Week, which lasted from last Friday through this Friday. And I guess you could say I'm starting to be able to function at about 80% capacity, even without Rachel right by my side. So that's pretty good. Don't show up with a single coil passive sissy pups. I don't know what that means. I really don't have any idea what you mean there. It's a heavy meta amp. Oh, Mesa Boogie. Yeah, I'm familiar with that. actually. So Rachel, our ETL, our estimated time of leaving, is 1 p.m. Do you think that you can be ready in half an hour? You want to go finish completing Rachel's surprise? That I did this morning in order to procrastinate doing things I should have done. That's right, Rachel. Because I didn't want to do my chores, I had to do a load of laundry. Pow. 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 It's important to have an old washing machine because it's hard to find new washing machines with top loaders. Of course, what the devil's worst thing that the devil ever did? Create front-loading washing machines. It was a terrible decision by the devil to do that. There's a lot of fluff. Let's see. Heavy dry. There we go. Hooray for me. Did you see me do that laundry, you guys? I feel like a real grown-up lady. You know, rather than just sit around while I'm waiting for Rachel to get ready. Maybe I should empty the dishwasher too. Oh, you want some vacuuming, huh, Gregor? Well, it is true that that's what I need to do, is vacuum. Alright, Gregor. You've talked me into it. Instead of doing another one of Rachel's chores to avoid doing my chore, I'm going to do my chore. Now, look, you're not even going to get a full 30 minutes worth of vacuuming, so don't get your hopes up. I really need to eat something before I vacuum, just a little snack of some sort. I only really had one real meal yesterday, which granted was a big meal. But even though Kern's nectars are the food of drinks, it's still not really food. Let me wash my hands. I like to keep all the dishes on one side of the thing. But Rachel puts them on both sides of the thing. The thing is, that's why she feels like she has to empty the dishwasher, is because she wants there not to be dishes in the sink. Okay. Now that I've washed my hands, I'm gonna need to get a cheese. Oh, right. Talk about convenience. I forgot we got this convenience double pack. You take a couple of these salamis and a piece of cheese, and you got yourself a real protein-packed convenience snack. Alright, so you get one of these cheeses, and you're best served. I'll explain how to do this to everybody, of course, because I like to explain how to do things. Push that like that. You also turn on this light if you wanted. This light, I mean. What does that light switch do? Yet another light switch that I have no idea what it does. Yeah. What's that you say? It's still not bright enough for you? Fine. There. Turn on more lights. Look how many lights we have to turn on. So many lights. Alright, so now you got your cheese. And just let it sit right there for a second. Next, you're going to get your meats like this. And then you just put your meats around your cheese like this. And that's how you make meat and cheese instant snack. As instant snacks go, this instant snack has a lot going for it because it's pretty filling. And we're planning on going to lunch in town. And I don't want to necessarily spoil my appetite, but I need a little bit of something. She's not napping still. She's asleep still from last night. She was, but she has her own relationship with sleep. It's as unique and mystical as the INFJ herself. And people think that Rachel's a 9, you could, easily pushed around or something. Don't fool yourself, girl. If you mess with Rachel's sleep, watch out, sister. Pow, straight to the moon, I tell you. So, just like she respects my SE, I respect her SI. She's not always harping on impacts with me, prioritizing impacts over truth or whatever. I've experienced that notion of like, Things are only worth anything if you can measure them in impacts. I experienced it from my dad. I experienced it from Candace, from Kimberly, but not from Rachel. She understands that what matters are the meanings of things, not the impacts. Meanings have more impact than impacts have meaning. Put it that way. It's a good saying. Meanings have way more impact than impacts have meaning. So you got to be a careful custodian of all the meanings. You have to make sure you don't do things that incur bad meanings, that mean bad things. And therefore, it's wise to always err on the side of speaking carefully about things rather than doing things. So thinks the intuitive, and so validates his wife. So too is it true that Rachel should sleep whenever she wants for as long as she wants, under all circumstances. And nary shall there be exceptions to this reality. So, loving Rachel also, with my emotions. I tell her all the time, I love you with my emotions. Loving her with my actual emotions, like feeling it so consciously, like I've been this week, it has the additional impact of making me horny. So, normally sex is not ideally had every day because, I'm not that horny every single day. I was talking more back to me. No, I've successfully killed enough time now, Gruntcore, that there's too little time for vacuuming. There's only 20 minutes left. There's not enough time for vacuuming. What I will do, though, to prepare for future vacuuming is I will move something that I need to move. Okay. So, well, it's like when there's 30 minutes left before I have to go, well, then there's time to vacuum. When there's only 20 minutes left before I have to go, I might need to do a couple things to get ready to go myself, All right, here's a task I'm going to do in order to prepare myself for vacuuming next time. I need to move this locked and loaded device here into a different closet. Okay, so I moved that dangerous thing into a different closet that I never go into, so I don't have to worry about it being in the closet with the vacuuming stuff. Every time I touch that thing, I'm like, okay, be super careful. I'm not really a gun guy, I'm glad we have one, but I don't like to touch it, really. It's like, I know that in life there are things that I'm good at and things that I'm not good at. That's why I haven't even tried using my chainsaw yet. I'm too worried about hurting myself. But to a certain extent, I'm just going to have to man up, be super hyper aware and careful, and do some things that I need to do when I need to do them with that chainsaw. Because it's not like I got that chainsaw for no reason. I have actual need for a chainsaw up here. Like there's a road I want to go on my little wilderness car. There's a big log blocking it. I've got this serious kind of chainsaw that would allow me to cut through this log and a piece of log and cut that small enough to move the pieces and then drive through the hole I cut. I could do that with my chainsaw. I got the chainsaw so that I could do things like that. But I'm scared to try to use it. It's one of those like my SE eyes were bigger than my SE stomach, I think. I thought I could do that. I'm a man. I can chainsaw shit. Well, yeah, I could. The sort of thing where you want a certain, like, I'd like Rachel and I to go double date in the wilderness car and have the other guy be like a manly guy who knows how to do things like that. Then he could use my chainsaw and cut it. I could help him move the logs out of the way, and then I wouldn't take any risk of getting injured. I'm pretty good at like lifting and moving things. That's fine. I'm pretty strong, you know. I just don't want to accidentally cut myself with a chainsaw. Oh, it's my favorite squirrel. Well, come back, little squirrel. You're my favorite one. I want to show everybody you. Do it smart, or and do it the dumb way. There you are, little squirrel. That's my favorite little squirrel right now. He's I wouldn't call him a baby, but he's definitely not a full-grown squirrel. I probably wouldn't yell at him to stop being a baby. Seems like he has enough cutlets for right now. If he wants more, he could tell me. You like your cutlets? Yes, you love your cutlets. Oh, yes. Why does he keep going back down and coming back up, I wonder? Can I get any more zoomy? That's as zoomy as it gets. Next time it goes down again. Try to put this over here. There. Now you get an even closer view. Oh, now he's gone back up the tree. Yes, it's fine, little squirrel. You don't have to worry about me. I'm not gonna try to get you. I'm the one that gives you all the cutlets. You could call me the cutlet giver. Here, let me give you some more cutlets. Here you go there, cutlet lover. There you go. More delicious cutlets for you. Now let's see if he comes down to these cutlets. We just watch patiently and see. It's okay, cutlet lover. Come have your cutlets. He's being a little shy right now. He's working the long way around. Just get some cutlets. You're fine. Nobody's gonna bother you. Yes, you're a good and important cutlet lover. He's kind of blending in pretty well right now. But he did come down for some more cutlets. Yes, you're a very good cutlet lover. And you love the cutlet so much. By talking to him while he's eating, I get him to be less skittish about my voice. And even when I closed the garage door, he just still stayed there eating. So I'm building a trust relationship with this squirrel. I don't have a name for him because I can never I can never tell the squirrels apart, really. Like, this squirrel's not going to stay this size and this color. He's going to grow up to be a regular colored, regular sized squirrel. How am I going to tell them apart then? I don't know. But my guess is he'll be less skittish of me as an adult than, say, the squirrels that were adults when we started putting out cutlets. This squirrel probably just will be like, oh, that guy's cool. He gives cutlets and he never tries to eat me. I don't need to worry about him. That's what I want that squirrel to think when it grows up is, he doesn't need to worry about me. I'm not going to bother him. I'll just give him cutlets. I won't try to catch him or anything. But I think we got some very healthy squirrels and some very healthy blue jays around here because they get so many cutlets. Now I'm going to show you the blue jays. The blue jays are eating over there. I've also put cutlets over there, so that's why they're eating over there. And this time, they're actually letting a sparrow eat with them, although you probably can't really see it. It's behind one of the blue jays right now. It's behind the one on the right. But a lot of times the blue jays don't let those smaller birds partake of the goodness. They'll try to chase them away. That's all right. We have a lot of blue jays. And they seem nice to me. You know, it's like maybe they're not nice to the smaller birds, but I like them anyway. They're so unusual. They're blue. Not a lot of blue things in nature. But blue jays are blue. And that's one to grow on. Nobody can deny that blue jays are blue. Okay. Now for serious though. I know I've had several false alarms that I was going to end this stream. The cats can't catch the squirrels. The squirrels are too good at not being caught. Dumpling was trying to hunt the birds yesterday, but I shooed it away. Okay, Grunkor, fine. Blues all over the place in nature. So everywhere I look, there's blue shit. Fine. Rachel, you almost ready to go? I'm waiting for the lag to catch up. Yeah. All right, cool. That's how long the lag is between me saying it on the stream and her hearing it upstairs. All right. See y'all later. Thanks for being here. Love you. Talk to you later.